I've seen a lot of change, been through a lot of pain. Some things are not the same as they were a year ago.
Hey y'all, this is me. I'm out at the bus again today. I'm going to welcome you to the next chapter of Adventura, the bus, chapter 8. She got opened up, and basically, I did what I did is, and you can see behind me, the doors have come off. So I am now in the process of doing some work on her to give her new doors. But in that process, it takes time, and sometimes we have to do things that really open us up and expose us to things. That's what transformation looks like. It's open. It causes us to have to be open at times, and it's not fun. I don't think Adventura feels real good right now that she's got all her parts exposed. But it's a necessary part of the process. And right now I have a little bit of plastic over the doorway because we've had some heavy rains. But the good news is, it's not raining on the inside. The inside is very dry, and I'll show you in a few minutes that the inside is very dry, and I've made a lot of progress on the roof. I don't have the roof done, but I have about 90% of it done, and I'm very happy with the results. And so I invite you to enjoy this journey. You're going to see how I took apart the doors a little bit. Some of it was done off video with my brother. We didn't really plan to do that, but it just kind of came up and I didn't have all my camera gear ready. So I apologize for not capturing that part, but we were just basically breaking bolts loose. The main part that you get to see is the more fun part where I take the doors out. I did have to take a grinder out and grind down the posts on the bottom to get them off, but it got off and it's done. So we're moving on to the next steps, and in the process of rebuilding. Nothing's perfect, I can tell you that, but I'm learning a lot, and always learning a lot, and I'm in the process of making new doors for Adventura. She's going to have, and that should be in next week's video, hopefully. If all goes well, I'll have a new set of doors for her soon. And I'm saying doors because I have a special plan for the doors. And I'm really, really excited about it. Actually, I've been chomping at the bit for like 2 days to get back out here and work on it. But we've had some bad weather, and I've had some stuff going on. I had to go down and help my parents, which is a great thing. I love helping my parents. I went down and helped them hang some pictures up in their house. And so I just took a day away. And it's good to have a day to just rest and not do much. And so that's what I did. So I invite you to enjoy this journey for Adventura as she gets opened up and exposed. Okay, well, what you see me doing here is beginning work on these parts of the dash that were really, really super rusty. So I'm actually securing it down to the board there because I don't want them to slip out when I'm actually running the wire wheel. That actual grinder with the wire wheel on it is very, very powerful, and if I don't have something attached to it, it will come loose and go flying off the thing, and I didn't want it to fly off the table, so I secured it down with a couple screws and made it safer to use. Now I will show you, you will see the evidence of that here later in the video, but basically what I do when I do any kind of rust preparation for any of these pieces of metal that are rusty is I'll hit it with the wire wheel first. I'll get it good and clean, as much of the surface rust off as I can with the wire wheel, and then I will come behind it with the actual rust preparation. And so that's what you see me doing here, is I'm knocking down all the surface rust on these pieces. So and that's what I was talking about right there. That is a powerful grinder, and therefore it can get caught up on things, and you can see it's kicking the plate out, and that's why I secured it down. I probably should put 2 screws in each of these, but I didn't, and there I'm holding it with my hands instead, and you're going to see that grinder go flying one more time because it gets caught. And that's because it's a strong grinder, and it is very, very but it's nice because it has this you have a safety switch on it where you have to be holding it in order for it to run. So if it does kick loose like that, it shuts off immediately. So there is a safety feature in that. So I want to tell you about that because it's something that's very important to be aware of when you're using one of these grinders. This is a Bosch grinder. It's my favorite. It's very, very powerful. Like I said, I got it at a thrift shop for like 40 bucks, I think. So I did get a good deal with that, and so I love this grinder. The wire wheel I'm using is from Harbor Freight. It's a little braided wire wheel, and it is super good for this kind of job. As a matter of fact, my wire wheel is getting worn down, so I'm going to have to go get another one because I've had a lot of rust in the bus. But guess what? She's getting less and less every day, and that's really a great thing. I'm now starting to do the rust treatment. I'm grabbing some supplies here that I needed in order to get that done. And so I will be doing where I have the Rust-Oleum rust dissolver, and I pour it in a little container there, and I use a chip brush, which is a brush that I don't care if it ever comes back again. It's kind of basically a throwaway brush, but it does the job really good as far as getting this rust dissolver onto this stuff. And so I'm going to cover every surface that I can cover, and right there I'm trying to get the screw out so that I could flip it over and do the other side, but I cannot. So you will see later what my solution to that is. And so I'm going to paint every single side of this with the rust dissolver and do my best to get every single surface covered. Now, when you use this stuff, it's excellent. You put it on, and then after a little while, you will take a break and you let it set on the metal for about 30 minutes. And then after 30 minutes, you want to go back with warm soap and water and wash every single surface off, because if you don't wash every single surface off, it will continue to cause it may even accelerate the speed of the corrosion. So I would highly recommend that you would do that and wash it off with soap and water after you're done. So you're going to see me do a very thorough coating of this stuff on these pieces, because they were very rusty, and I don't know why they weren't painted other than they were just being used as a ground, but they were actually just the mounts for the dash pieces. So there's that. Okay, now you can see me actually taking and removing the screws out of it so that I could start working on the other side and treating the rust on that. Now, on some of the inside pieces, I couldn't get the wire brush in there tight enough, so I am just letting the rust treatment do its work. The nice thing about this stuff is I was kind of testing it out as well to see how well it would work on the rust if I hadn't wire brushed it. And now I'm going to start trying to address the fact that I can't get this thing off here. The screw got in there so tight it doesn't want to come out. I have a couple of creative solutions I tried to come up with to get it out of there, and it's not working. So guess what I go to? The grinder. The grinder is always the option to come up with the things that don't want to work. So I very carefully grind that little head of the screw off there so that I can get to that tray and be able to flip it over and treat it for rust. So in a couple more seconds I'll have that all taken care of, and we'll flip it over on the other side and treat that for rust. And in a few minutes you'll see me finish up the job, and then I will swap. Because this has to set on the metal for about 30 minutes, what I do is I will a lot of times work on a project where I am actually have to wait on like paint to dry or for rust treatment to soak in. So it takes about 30 minutes for this stuff to really work. So I will often set up a job that I'm working on. I got rid of the gloves I was wearing from that, and I'm getting some new gloves because I'm going to go up and do a different task while I'm waiting for that rust treatment to really get to work. So I'm going to pick up the caulk gun here and grab some lap sealant and go up and do some finishing touches on the roof. So that's what I'm about ready to do here. So the roof repairs have gone really well. I've gotten it to the place where I can tell that this thing is working. I've got enough lap sealant on all the seals now to where we're not getting leaks on the roof anymore. You can see the stuff that I've done already right there where it's nice and flat and covered well. That lap sealant is really nice because it's called Dicor, and it's a self-leveling lap sealant. And what you will usually see, and I don't know if everybody knows that, but there's a little hole on the handle there, and that's, you use that to cut open the end of the tube, and then if you pull out the little metal thing at the end of the mouth of the tube, there's a little metal bar, and that's used to puncture the seal for the tube. And so I did that before I actually started putting the lap seal on the roof. So what is beautiful about this stuff is that it actually starts out kind of liquidy, and you kind of put a layer of it down, and then you kind of rotate it and make sure you have a nice even layer of it. And then once it's all done, it will kind of slowly melt almost into place, and that's why it's called self-leveling, because it kind of melts into the place and covers the stuff more thoroughly. And you can see how
well, it's end of another day. I'm dirty again, but I have made some good progress. Okay, this is some of the components of under the dash that I have been they were all rusty. I cleaned them up, de-rusted them, and put paint on them, so those are done. Yeah, and these are the other pieces for under the dash. I didn't end up making them flat back, but I did make them a different color than what they were. I didn't like the copper, so I wanted to go with something a little more neutral, and I think I found the color that's working for me. This is like a hammered, Rust-Oleum hammered finish. It's not a beautiful color, but it's going under the dash, and it's just mainly there to protect the rust. So that's what I've got with these. These are going to be ready to go back in probably later today, after I do some work on the wood and I run out of things I can do today. I will go and start working on some other projects.
Okay, so this is where the actual stairs had paint on them that I had painted on earlier, and I was not very satisfied with the way it looked. It was kind of, you can see where it kind of got messed up by stepping up and down on the steps, and I decided that it was just not the right kind of paint for that application. So I'd get the wire wheel out and the sander out and kind of redo this whole section here. So I had to get all the old paint roughed up and ready to receive new paint and get the majority of that paint off. It was good because it's a rust resistant paint, so therefore it's going to be a good layer underneath. It was more like a primer coat, and I probably put it on a little too thick, and I'm not sure what it really was, but for this particular application it was not the best paint. So I decided that I was going to just take it down back as close as I could. Before I could finish the steps, I had to go ahead and address the doors and get them off, so that's what you see me doing here. Started with taking down the top piece and then working on the bottoms. Before I could finish getting that last door off, I had to get a jack out and get it done. Since I'm working on the steps, I might as well get all the rust treated, and this is after I'd taken the doors out. And I'm also working on some dash components. I was taking some of the old dash pieces out, and you can see I painted those sections in there really fast. And now I am working on the piece that was what was the header piece over the top of the doorway. It was actually a very strong steel piece, and I wanted to put that back in.
Hey y'all, so I've been out here working on the van today. I'll show you tomorrow a little more of what's going on, but basically the doors are gone. I took them off. I couldn't take them anymore. I really had to work on the rust area. I worked on it quite a bit, and it is in process. And I don't have another door to put on right now, but hopefully in the next day or two I'll be able to make some doors to put in there, and we'll be all set. So this is what she looks like right now. So this is the part here where I have redone the steps, and this is the part here where I put the door panel thing up, but it's not perfect, trust me, but it is straight. The bolts are not perfect on that side, but I did get it better on this side. These are straight. I was trying to avoid drilling new holes, and that wasn't working too well. I was trying to use the old holes, and I've got about half the cab redone in here. I've got all this stuff cleaned out and de-rusted and repainted, and this side still needs to have work done, and I can see the old AC parts that I'm gonna have to pull out still, but we're working on it. We're making progress slowly, and like I said, we're about ready to start working on the floors in here because we have got this thing dried out. It rained again last night and there's no water, so I'm really encouraged by the no water here, and it's really dry, and I'm getting to the point where I have only 2 more rails to go. and then the rails are gone, and I can start pulling up the floor. I do have to take a little heater out of the corner. I haven't done that yet because I know it's going to involve taking coolant out of the system. There is a cutoff valve over here that I did find that I can't get to turn. So we'll see what happens. We're making progress. Hey y'all, this is me back at the bus. I just wanted to thank you for taking time to stop by my channel and see what is going on with Adventura. It's a beautiful day today. I haven't been able to get out here much because I'm an Airbnb host, so I have taken some time today to, I had some guests checking out and I had other guests checking in. This is a beautiful place I get to live. I have actually a couple of little short pictures at the end of my video that allow you to see not only some sneak previews of what's coming up on the next video, but also to see a beautiful picture of this beautiful cabin that I get to live in and call home. Thank you for stopping by and seeing this video, and that about she gets opened up. She's got a lot exposed right now, and you'll see some more of that in the next couple videos. But I thank you for taking the time to come by and subscribe and share if you haven't already. And thank you for your support. I really appreciate it all. Thank you all for taking time to stop by. Don't forget to subscribe and share. Y'all come back now.
Some things are not the same as they were a year ago.